there, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. So last week, I introduced myself and I talked a little bit about why I'm here and also gave you some definitions about some of the spiritual lingo you'll hear as you start to discover more about the twin flame journey. I just want to kind of go through a little bit about trying to figure out if you're on the journey, and we'll go from there. So, some of the early stages of the twin flame journey. Now, you'll hear from different sources and different people that there's X amount of stages, and each of them are labeled this and that. Again, I'm not here for any kind of coaching sessions or anything like that. I just want to share my story and get it out there for the people that are beginners to spirituality, that have chosen this twin flame path in their past life and is now being jolted into it, and they just want to know what is going on, what is happening to you. So, or just maybe people are just genuinely curious. Maybe they're not on the twin flame journey at all and they just want to know what is up, what is up, what is the twin flame journey. What the hell happened to Jacqueline? What's going on with Jax? She used to be this way and now she's this way. No. Well, anyway, so some of the early stages of the twin flame journey are having obsessive thoughts, overthinking, constantly wondering what they are up to, or will I see them again? Are they going to text me? Just nonstop, to the point where it is hard to function in life. And I'm telling you, it can be debilitating. It can be, that when your mind is racing and how much that it can affect you energetically. Like, to me, if I went out and ran 3 miles, but then spend the whole day thinking about something or having anxiety or stressing about something, I would be more exhausted because of the mind just nonstop than I would be running that marathon. Overthinking is exhausting. And when you are on this journey, that's some of the early stages of this, like nonstop, just circle, 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 blah, 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 what's going on, dee-dee-dee, dee-dee-doo. Just, I'm exhausted talking about it right now. And I would go into work and I would do everything that I could to just like focus on what it is I was supposed to be doing, or somebody would start talking to me and I'm still up in my head about this person. And then I'm like, what did you say? What do you need me to do? Trying to just get through each day. It was hard. It was difficult. It was exhausting. And then, that's just the early stages. And if you're on the journey, you're always going to be on the journey. You don't just start this twin flame journey and then it ends. It's always going to be there. This is what you are here to do. You're here to learn. You're here to remember your soul. It's highly transformative. You are not the same person you were when you started this journey. You are a completely different person. But it's not that you've changed. You were supposed to do this so you could remember who you are. Remember your soul. Be your true, authentic self. That is the point of the journey. It is not about romance. It is not about two people coming together in union and keeping to themselves and living this wonderful, happy little life. That's not what this is about. Anyways, I'm kind of getting off track here. So early stages, obsessive thoughts, not being able to function, completely exhausted all the time. Okay. And then you kind of move into this middle stage. Still early, but you're going through and you get to this point where you start to just be really sad, really depressed. You start to contemplate life itself. Why am I even here? What is my purpose? Would things be better if I was no longer alive? and it's really dark and it's hard. I refer to it being drugged through the depths of hell. That's what it feels like. And that is why it's so important for me to spread this word, this information, because I know what it was like to be there, and it's isolating and you're alone and you can't talk about it to anybody else because nobody knows or understands what it is that you're going through. I mean, it could just look like to the outside world depression and being crazy. And it's a really dark time. Like I said, it's hard contemplating your purpose. What are you here for? And this is kind of the middle stage, kind of still early on in the journey. You know, you've met your twin by this time, the more lighter time. And that's towards the later stages where you discover your life's purpose and you discover who you are. You have an ego death. You start to realize why you're here. You start to understand that there's more to life than what you have been doing in the past. You start to believe in spirituality. You start to understand that there is a God and that you're not alone. You're not actually alone. You have your guides, your angels with you all the time. You have this spontaneous spiritual awakening, and it could feel like it happens overnight. And you're just like, you want to do everything that you can to take care of yourself now. You want to stop with the addictions. You want to start taking care of your body. You want to live longer. You realize that you're here to help people and to show people that there's more to life than just surviving. Just the mundane, go to work, get money, pay your bills, go home, go to sleep, get up, start all over again. It's way more than that. And it feels so good once you start to remember your soul and who you are and why you're here. And you start to recognize how you used to cope in the old life. And you start to forgive yourself. Like, okay, I had guilt around being this way. But then you self-love, like forgiveness, you move past it and you start to integrate those ways of being with who you are now. You know, you still have your shadow side, your darker side, but you start to use them and integrate them and alchemize it with your life's mission and purpose now. And it's so important to not just bury it and to not pay attention to it anymore. Because that's what makes you you. You are unique. And you are perfect the way you are. So that's kind of the later stages. And it gets to be lighter. It gets to be more joyful. And the final stages are realizing that you are one with everything. Unity consciousness. God becomes a huge part of your life. I mean, like I had mentioned before, I went from being an atheist to I talk to God all the time now. He's always with me. I'm always with him. We are one. We are co-creating together. We're all one, all of it. And you start to realize that, and it gives you peace. We're not separate. We're not separate beings living separate lives. You just feel like there's that there's that tree over there, and that tree is you, and you are the tree. And there's this person here. You're that person, and they're you. They're mirrors. It just, if you're not there yet with the unity consciousness or feeling like you are all one or being all one, you will be. if you're on the twin flame journey, and I'm telling you, you have this urge to just help, to help guide, to help teach, to help show, to just, and you're not like running around trying to be all up in people's faces that, aren't accepting of what this is that you're doing right now. You're not trying to fix everybody and everything. That's not what I'm saying. People will come to you. The right people will find this channel. The right people will be guided towards you to help, that are open to hearing this and to understanding that there's more to life than this, than what we're taught, than what we're shown. And, so that's kind of like a quick little snapshot of trying to figure out if you're on this journey or not. So again, earlier stages, obsessive thoughts, not being able to function, middle stages, like depression, sadness, thinking about what your life's purpose even is. Do you want to continue to go on, being drugged through the depths of hell? And then you move later on into your ego death and discovering spirituality and figuring out what your life purpose actually is, and discovering and remembering who you really are. And then the final stages of unity consciousness, living peacefully, joyfully, and making each and every second count, and understanding why you're here. So if any of that sounds familiar in any way, shape, or form, it could be a twin flame journey. It could be a spiritual awakening. So thank you for being here. Thanks for listening to that. And I'm going to move on into telling a little bit more about my story.